Well, it is World's Interview Week here, and I am joined right now by BrokenBlade from TSM to talk a little bit about their journey to Worlds. You guys still have playoffs ahead of you, but this interview is going to come out afterwards, so I'm just going to pretend that you guys have won and everything's great, and you are in first place in your first seat. Now, BrokenBlade, first off, what does it mean for you to be getting to Worlds and attending it this year, especially after, unfortunately TSM couldn't do it last year?
It definitely feels really great. It's like more of a relieving point kind of for me now, since I think I really should have went last year. I started off really well in spring and then summer went a little bit worse, but we still should have went, I'm pretty sure. Got reverse swept. So definitely feels really great to actually go into Worlds also against C9, who look very strong almost the whole year. And yeah, it's a great feeling being able to compete against the best,
Yeah. Were you worried at any given point in time, especially because it seemed like things were pretty shaky for TSM at multiple points this year?
I mean, this year is kind of the opposite, right? It's like last year in spring we were doing really well, and then in summer it was going a little worse, and this year spring was not looking very, very good, and then now summer's looking a lot better. Obviously, we were still like having a little shaky moments throughout the split, but I think right now we're pretty stable and we're like constantly looking to get better, and I think we are. So it's definitely something. It's a good feeling.
Yeah. Well, take me through playoffs, because I think it's really interesting that I think at times a lot of people expected you guys to drop out, especially after the Golden Guardians loss, and especially when you were down 2 games in the Golden Guardians series. So, I mean, what has experiencing playoffs been like for you?
For me personally, playoffs are always where I perform very well because when I'm under pressure, I usually perform well. And yeah, the first Golden Guardians series, it was just not who we were, and I'm very grateful for having the losers bracket because it kind of was like a wake up call, if you want to call it that. Because we were definitely not as bad as we have shown against Golden Guardians. I think we just came in, or they came in a lot better prepared than us, and that's why it was looking very shaky. Our draws had no identity, and in the game we were not playing how we usually play, so everything combined was just total disaster. But coming to the next week, it was better. We beat Dignitas, right? And we kind of got a little bit of confidence back, even though they weren't like the highest seeding team. It was still something nice to like have a 3-0. And then the Golden Guardian series, again, we still had better drafts, and we had games where, like, for example, the game 2, we should have never lost that game. But each game of that series was better and better. And I think each game of like the C9 series, we played pretty well as well, and that is like one thing that we could use because we had so many games. I think we had the most games so far out of any team, and it's just important that we use these kind of games to get even better, right?
Yeah.
And I think we did a good job, and hopefully we'll have even better showing against Team Liquid.
Well, it sounds as though, as you said, you play really well under pressure. So I'm very excited to see how you do at Worlds, because there's a lot of pressure there. What are your expectations for what TSM can accomplish there, especially since it does feel like you've been powering up over the course of playoffs?
I mean, I'm not sure. It's like very new for me, right? Worlds, and also for Speaker, and I'm very happy to be going with this team, especially. I'm having a lot of fun being with this team, like just like even like outside of scrims, it's fun being around them, and definitely going somewhere to compete is a very, very good experience. And hopefully I will learn as much as possible, and so can Ming, and hopefully our other 3 members like Bifrost, Bjergsen, and Double, if they had been Worlds many times, and I hope like they can teach us something, or they will have a lot of fun playing again, because it's been a long time for for Bjergsen, for example, right? And hopefully it's going to be a very good experience. I mean, I'm very excited, and I just want to play well. I want people to know that I'm not just a random top laner or something. I want to make a name for myself in the international stage, and if I have to prove it now, then I will do it.
Do you think that you and Speaker will benefit from the fact that at least early on there's not going to be any audience at Worlds? So perhaps, I mean, you said you play well under pressure, right? But like, perhaps that'll lessen a little bit of the burden of having to travel over there and go through quarantine and all that.
Yeah, I mean, definitely it sucks being in this quarantine and having to like go somewhere. Obviously, it's always a risk as well. But not having fans is like something I don't like personally. I don't think it really helps me. I think it's rather like I kind of need the fans. I need to hear the cheers and everything to help me get into the zone in the game. It's just part of the game now. It's just part of competing. It's in every sport. It's there, you know, and because of quarantine, it's not there anymore. So it's definitely harder for me. But I think I kind of try to, before the games, I try to simulate everything, like the feeling, how I was feeling when there was a high stake match, and that kind of gets me going in those important games.
Have you figured out how you're going to spend the 14 days of quarantine when you get to China?
I mean, we already have like everything planned. I think we will go to like a quarantine hotel, and then we'll stay there. We will scrim from there, everyone separately from their rooms. And then after those 14 days, we will go to the actual hotel, and we'll be able to see each other again and have everything in person. Like,
so this I know. I was more curious, like, if you're like, okay, I've got these 7 anime that I'm gonna watch, or like I'm gonna read these books, or I'm gonna play this game when I'm not scrimming. I'm curious because it's gonna be kind of crazy. You guys won't be able to leave the room for 14 days, so I'm kind of curious about that.
I mean, it's not that big of a difference because I don't really leave my room.
Yes, yeah. This is the answer I've been getting for most of the players.
But the thing is, I'm really excited actually to play solo queue there because it's definitely like different, right? I think we will be still playing on the Korean server. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just nice playing on other servers, and then there's going to be other people recognizing you, and some people run you down. Some people like to play with you. You know, it's really fun.
It's a different vibe.
Yeah, and yeah, I'm just very excited. I was very, very happy when I knew I was going to qualify, and yeah, it's just crazy.
I asked Kobe because I bumped into him in the kitchen a little bit ago if he had a question for you because I was about to interview you, and he wants to know why you think it is that other teams are afraid to let their top laners carry the way that you're able to carry.
I think carrying through top is a lot more riskier than carrying through bottom or through mid, and that's also why I really like being on this team because they do trust me, and if I do a mistake, I know there's my teammates backing me up and they can still, you know, carry me. And I think honestly there's just teams that have identities, and this is one of our identities. And I think Team Liquid is not going to win a game through top lane, or FlyQuest usually doesn't like to play carry tops, but Solo is definitely able to carry like those kind of players. There's definitely players in the LCS that have the potential to be played around and to get advantages and stuff like that. And it's just like a kind of choice that you are making with your team. And I think FlyQuest and TL both, they have the identity of like just playing front to back team fighting and just play to scale up and play to team fight later. And I think that's fine. You know, it's something that you can definitely go for. And we also do that sometimes. But one of our strengths is playing the counter pick top and having pressure top and going with the pressure through other lanes. And yeah.
Well, I'm excited to see how you guys do at Worlds. Oh, last question. Is there anybody in particular or any teams that you want to face off against once you get there?
Not really. I think I just want to win as many games as possible, and it doesn't matter who I play against. Yeah. In the end, if you want to be the best, it shouldn't matter anyway. But I would like to just play the best teams, you know, and see what I can learn and get better at, or see how, like the position I am in, you know, like how good am I actually, you know, compared to the best top laners in the world, and it's definitely going to be a good experience.
Yeah. Well, if your goal is to play as many games as possible, that at least gets you to the finals, based off of the math that I've done recently.
Yeah.
So either way, looking forward to hopefully seeing you make it all the way there at least. Is there anything you want to say to any of the fans out there?
Yeah, it's definitely been a rough season, and I know that. And also, my performance was going up and down. But there has been fans that didn't believe in us or didn't believe in me specifically, and there has been fans that believed in me up until this moment, and I'm very grateful for these kind of fans. And hopefully, they will be supporting me for the rest of my career, even. And yeah, I'm very grateful. These kind of fans, they really keep me going, and they really motivate me, and it's just great to know that they're still there, even though they're not in the crowd. And yeah, it's great.
Well, thank you so much for the interview. Best of luck at Worlds. For everyone else, you can check out the rest of my coverage of all things Worlds right here on my YouTube channel. Hey, thank you so much for watching that piece of content. Trying to bring more energy to these outros lately because people sometimes say I don't got it, but I got it. Woo! Okay, listen. I'm just going to cut to the chase. Alienware sponsored this video. I really appreciate them and everything they do. There's a link in the video description below if you want to click that and go check out some of their stuff, including, by the way, and I don't think it's up on the site yet, but very soon, consider it as a preview because there's some articles out about it. They've announced a 360 hertz refresh rate monitor. So if you're doing some FPS gaming, some stuff where you want high refresh rates, that's where you go. Also, they're going to do a 38-inch ultra-wide curved. I've got their 34 right now, and I love it. But this is going to be bonkers. Then they also have a 27-inch gaming monitor coming with an edge-to-edge display with NVIDIA G-Sync Ultimate. And a 240 hertz refresh rate. So there's just a bunch of cool stuff that they're doing in the monitor space right now. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to click that link below.